Hey everyone, welcome back to Automation. So it's getting darn close to Halloween. I think it's 2 days away from the actual time that I upload this video. Sometimes things are messy, but pretty sure. So today I'm going to make a hearse, one that is worthy of my own death, although I don't plan on dying very soon. If I was to die, then maybe this would be the kind of thing that could take me to the grave in more ways than one. My planning is poor as always. Let's just make a new car and see what happens. Here's a car from my Discord. If you're wondering where these cars at the beginning of things come from, it's the car display channel. I pick basically just cars I find cool and put them up here, so yeah, that's why cars appear at the beginning of my videos. So lately I've been playing the Mafia remaster, and it has cars, some of them similar to this, and then obviously some newer stuff as well, more like this style, but it just made me think of hearses. Also Halloween, again, making me think of hearses, but I don't want to go the traditional route this time. I think I want to do something a bit different. Yes, folks, today I'm going to be making a Bugo hearse, and we're going to be abusing the ability to lengthen the car significantly, because otherwise this is not going to work. Honestly, in real life, I know I'm going to die at some point, hopefully not anytime soon. I hope to accomplish a lot more things in life before that time comes. But I don't want to have a fancy funeral, and I likely won't have a hearse. It's literally just going to be like the simplest, cheapest thing ever, because I want whoever I'm passing my money to be able to actually use it and not spend 30 grand on a funeral when I'm already dead anyways. I feel like that's a bit of a waste. But on less dark terms, Yugo funeral vehicle would be hilarious, and so that's exactly what I'm doing. Because I intend to abuse the fixtures and stuff in this significantly for this build, I've gone ahead and added leaf springs on the back because it needs to be able to take a specific amount of weight, and I think that's kind of important. So let's skip forwards. I'm not going to do the usual Bugo stuff where I just make everything super low quality, just because, I don't know, let's say the hearse vehicle is one that they actually cared about. Okay, shockingly, this thing can fit a V8 in it. A 4-liter a 4-liter V8. What on this earth? I did not think that was possible in this car. Well, I never do 60-degree V8s, so why not let this be the time? I'm going to make it as big as possible within reason. It doesn't need to be massive, although, let's be real, a high-powered Bugo sending me to the grave is a very likely scenario. There you go, 5-liter V8. Oh man, this is a bit of a ripper. And I can get dual overhead cams on there if I want. Yikes. Well, that's a big boy for this car. Whoops, I added a turbo. Whoops, I added 2 turbos. Oh my goodness, what's happening? I can't believe I'm putting on extremely high quality components. What's that? It's running E85? Oh no, such a mistake. I'm getting really, really good at making horrible turbos in this game, and I know some people have been pointing it out. Yeah, I haven't watched the turbo video yet, to be fully honest with you, which is why I've been avoiding turbos in general. That being said, I don't know, why not just make some random stuff and see what you can do with 1058 horsepower in a car that is front-wheel drive. Yeah, let's be real honest, I only care about peak power when I'm making these engines. 1986 horsepower, but nothing, absolutely nothing, until you get high up in the RPMs. Literally no bottom end. It's basically perfect for taking people to the grave, because let's be honest, this turbo leg is gonna kill somebody. Okay, there's my final figure, without doing any quality sliders or anything crazy like that. 5-liter V8, 2073 horsepower, and I believe I'm putting out 38 PSI of boost. This thing is juiced to the absolute gills. Okay, let's just skip past all that stuff, and I don't really know. It's going to be front-wheel drive, by the way, just as a fair warning. Let's put some Ford modular heads on there, and then I've painted the engine block purple and the valve covers orange, and then after that the oil cap is green. I don't know, I just wanted to make something weird, so let's go with that. We need a little bit of Halloween tucked in with our terrible build here. So this is one of the variants that we can use. This is just like the coupe vehicle variant of it, the hatchback, I guess. I'm actually undecided what I want to do just yet. We also have the van variant, which is probably the most realistic, or the closed work van variant. I realize that this is not actually a Yugo body, but instead it's a Honda City body, but all this time I've been using it as a Yugo body. It never occurred to me that it was anything else, and I intend to continue with that. So that is as long as the Yugo thing can get. The rest of it I'm going to have to make myself, which is going to be interesting. So let's see if I can't just do that. Unfortunately, we can't just put a negative value in here and stretch the body like crazy. Because this is supposed to be some kind of high-class Yugo, I'm going to give it a tiny bit of chrome, which is unusual for this vehicle to say the least. So these are the settings that I intend to mess with in order to make this work, although as you can see, it's kind of not that simple. The body itself is likely not going to be able to morph any further the way that I want it to. I can move the chassis as much as I want, but the actual body is kind of just stuck where it is. The reason that we kind of need to modify things a little bit is because the Bugo in its normal state is just too short for a human body to fit in the back of it. Case in point, let's just try and put this guy in there. So yeah, default size, kind of deadish individual. Let me just try and line him up. Yeah, his feet kind of stick out the back a little bit, which is hilarious, but maybe a little bit vehicle, like Hearse like for this. So I have a plan. You're gonna love it. Let's make the rest of this thing work. And I am also gonna do a full interior in this, by the way. All right, continuing. First thing we should probably do is some of our significant modification, because this car needs wheel covers desperately. Otherwise, how the heck am I going to cover up this terribleness and make sure that our lovely wheels at the back here are being shown properly? So to be fully honest with you, I had thought about doing this to the back end, just kind of placing a truck bed on there, although not duplicated, and also a little bit more centered and all that stuff. I was just going to put a big truck bed on the back and just say, yeah, it's open air casket setup. But yeah, what I'm going to do instead is just extend it out from the window down. So we're going to extend the body out, then down, and then back around. And I think in order to avoid having to cut all this stuff, we'll probably just do wheel covers all the way through this. It's probably the best idea. And I mean, if I really want to, I can use some of these buggy parts and just kind of slap like an old style roof on there too. That would be cool, actually. Let me try it. Oh, yes. Yes. It is perfect. It kind of looks like the Yugo has a receding hairline, which is interesting, but I love the little kink there too. It just kind of fits the whole idea. And then this is just enough to fit this entire body in there. And I think the passenger or driver, should still have a little bit of room. So that'll be perfect. Okay, so we have a basic setup going. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of modification to this to get it to work right. Mostly in the wheels. I think I'm just gonna have to move the rear offset in a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean a decent amount, in order to accommodate the fact that the wheels there would stick out a little bit too much. Obviously, there's a little bit of blending left to do here, but this being a high-class Yugo, it's got to have the highest of class, and therefore also probably some side skirts, question mark. If you're hearing a little bit of noise in the background, it's my hedgehog Juniper. She is sleeping in a little tube next to me. Okay, as much as I'd like to have like a fly-by-night looking thing here where the legs are flying out, I want to change that just a little bit to make it look a little bit nicer. Okay, so I'm going to have to make some adjustments to this because the engine sticks out so significantly. Specifically the intercooler and such. I'm going to have to hide the intake, hide the turbos. I don't want to hide the engine, but I am going to leave the chassis in there as well. Yeah, everything is hidden in order to fit that gigantic thing in there. There we go. So if I take the weight distribution thing and I slide it back, we should be able to get the engine a little bit deeper in there and potentially have something that makes a little bit more sense. As long as it's not impeding with the firewall, we're probably good. And I think this might be an exhaust. Yeah, that's an exhaust tube. So once I figure out the exhaust, that might just fix itself. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to quickly give our hearse thing a floor. I'm just realizing now this can actually be painted chrome. That looks nice. Okay, so this thing kind of gives us a bit of a platform to put the casket on. So that's what I'm going to do, just kind of raise them up there. The arms are not going to work for whatever we're doing on this, and the center of gravity is pretty terrible, as in like this thing is way too high, but it's fine. Basically, I just need to close off the back end, and then we'll work on an actual interior for this, and then I need to make a casket, and obviously the decorations continue. I'm not totally done, but basically what I've done up front is I'm trying to make like a 2020 version of the Bugo, like a slightly facelifted, slightly nicer variant, question mark, with chrome. That's pretty much the only nicety, and also extra headlights, I guess. Okay, so I have boxed in the back chassis. That's a big improvement. I think I mentioned this, but I cut out this piece of glass in the middle of the car here, which was kind of unnecessary, and I think it's time for like a license plate and stuff, and try to blend this a little bit nicer, as difficult as that's going to be. The construction quality on this leaves so much to be desired that I am very, very excited to see how it runs in game. This might be an interesting wobbling experience here. So I know that the windows in these are supposed to be very tinted, but I've decided to go with a less tinted variant because I want you to be able to see what's in there. In this case, it's just a dummy for now, but we'll get something bigger soon. So I gotta fill in these gaps here. This is just not gonna fly, so I'm gonna quickly attempt that. Wow, that craftsmanship is interesting. Basically, I just made a little cap for the end of it, and I'm calling that good. Oh man, this thing is rough. By the way, the front bumper is actually not the same color as the rest of the body. It is plastic. Because yes, they just never got away from that. So seeing as this thing has an absolutely ridiculous amount of horsepower, I'm just gonna give it like drop down stuff here-ish. Maybe that'll work. We haven't got to hear it yet, but I can assure you that this thing probably has a ridiculous soundtrack. I'm just gonna go ahead and color the exhaust chrome, and I'll make these tips chrome as well. Oh yeah, full chrome exhaust, fully utilized in this massive beast. Although, would you look at that, it has a rear diff and it's front wheel drive. Oh man, I like how I mess stuff up like that. I'm just gonna go for a pre-made dashboard because I think that's probably the best way to go. Just nice and easy, and an easy way to cover up the interior. Some people ask me how to make interiors, but honestly it's really, really easy. All you gotta do is just be using the 3D fixture placement thing and get creative. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much how I'd describe how to do like anything advanced in this game, is learn 3D and then get creative. That's pretty much all you can do. So I was thinking about putting like a glass piece in between these things. I might still do that. If there's enough room for the legs to come out a bit more, I guess. Something like that. Yeah, okay, so there is going to be a separation, at least a small one, between the driver and the rest of whatever's in the back. Okay, the top blending is going to be a problem, and I'm not so sure that I actually want to do anything about that. It really does look like it has a receding hairline, and I'm a big fan, so I'm going to leave it for now. The casket, though, that's one thing I got to figure out still. What am I going to do about that? We could just leave the dummy in the back, because I think that's kind of hilarious. And if I can't think of anything else, that's exactly what's going to happen. So I added a little bit of text to it, you know what I mean? Basically, you know, funeral services and funeral houses always have this kind of stuff, so figured I'd put a number on there just in case. Also a little deluxe symbol on there too, and a little bit of a message on the back. I need to put like a little fancy chrome thing here, and I want to do a kind of a design here. So what's going to happen is the dummy is going to stay the same, but I'm going to color the, I don't know, color it something else. It basically, it doesn't look right otherwise. Let's make it out of leather because that's appropriate. And then if we go into the advanced settings on leather, we might be able to do something with it. Skin color. Oh no. Okay, I've taken this far enough. It is getting too much. There's a lot of text, a lot of chrome, and yeah, I changed the guy to be orange. I don't know. He's supposed to be orange. He looks a little bit tangerine maybe, but now we officially have a finished Yugo/Bugo Hearse with way too much power. This thing has 2,100 horsepower, and I think it's time that I crashed it into something. But first, obviously, we got to finish the rest of the build. So it's going to be front-wheel drive, automatic with a 6-speed. That might be a bad idea. We don't have any graphs yet to look at, but I will see soon how bad of an idea that is. I'm trying to make things a little bit easier on myself here, giving it an LSD. Radial tires. I went sports compound, but I'm going to immediately jump to semi-slick. We're going to skip the realism for this because I want it to actually kind of work. That would be ideal. Brakes, just garbage. It's not going to stop, at least not well, let's be honest. Aerodynamics, nothing. Does this look aerodynamic to you? Interior, I just went for a full bench seat at the front for maximum family moving. I guess family of 4. Premium interior with basic infotainment, and then just like random stuff here with basic or standard 80s safety. Let's just say they didn't change anything. Oh, I didn't finish the suspension, which is why it's as pissed as it is. I want to go air just because, but we'll go semi-active air suspension. The game is confused as heck and probably very angry. Wow, this is a bit of a thing, isn't it? So the car has strong oversteer, and it also has brake fade. Brake stuff is an issue, and all those suspension stuff is probably broken as well. Let me just kind of do that. It doesn't actually need to drive well, so I'm not super concerned about this stuff, but the brake size, I'm going to increase the calipers. The rears are too big, actually, so we'll shrink those down. Oh, well, whatever. Brake fade, all that stuff. Gearing wise, wow, 270 top speed, 247 top speed. What is keeping us that low? Yeah, okay, apparently it's the gearbox because we can do 458 once I increase it to a 10 speed. And then never mind, it goes down to 278. What on this earth? Wow, this is so janky. Okay, so 262, drop it by 1, 461. What the heck is going on here? Wheel spin is actually only 4.7%, but I'm going for high quality stuff to try and mitigate some of the problems that are potentially going to be going on here. And I'm going to increase the size of the backs as well, which should help with this thing's overall problems. As long as they don't stick out, I don't care too much. So it's 1,519 kilos, 2,075 horsepower at 7,000 RPM with an 8,000 RPM redline, and it's got a 5-liter V8 in it with 2 turbos and probably a little bit too much death. Let's see what this thing drives like in BeamNG. So here we are in BeamNG, and a little preview in the back there, but this is actually a Hearse I made a long time ago called the Despacito something, which is thankfully a dead song. But this one is at least a little bit more realistic. It turns out this is not the first time I've made a Hearse, although to be fully honest with you, I completely forgot that was the case. Let's take a look at the new one. So at the seemingly abandoned house, we have a Yugo Hearse, and looks like somebody's still in the back of it, which is a bit of a failure on the graveyard's part. Let's start her up and see if she still runs. My goodness, she rips pretty hard. Give her a little bit of reverse, maybe. Oh, that's meaty. Alright, let's see what she'll do. Okay, so immediately the driving characteristics of this are strange. The camera is not quite panned out enough because the vehicle is actually a lot longer than it should be. Okay, I've managed to get the camera zoomed out a little bit. I'm going to turn it off because it's just so darn choppy. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about it. But yeah, it seems like everything came in decently. Like the colors came in and all that stuff. The top is pretty much exactly the right color. The chrome came in nicely, and the turbo is also there, one of two of them. And the second one is probably, yeah, I'm looking right at it, right there, hiding out. Big boy engine means big boy power, and it also means that this thing spits flames, because of course it does. Every hearse needs to be spitting flames. See, that's what you get when you order the Yugoslavian funeral service. You get a cremation and a hearse in the same boat. So let's take it for a spirited drive and see how she does. I decided to come here instead of my usual West Coast map because I wanted to get sort of a realistic idea of what this thing would be like on the street, which realistic can definitely be in quotes because this thing is not realistic in the slightest. The back suspension, as you're probably noticing, is extremely bouncy, just shockingly so. It's probably far too tight. I need to loosen that up a bit if I want to make this into something decent. Also, the ESC really inhibits power, as you would suspect, because this thing would wheel spin like crazy if that wasn't there, and we will test it without just to be sure. For now though, I'm just going to go into sport mode and see if that makes any bit of a difference. You can see that we're leaving a few tire marks here and there as we go along, just as it should be. Man, this V8 rips so darn hard. I am a huge fan of this engine. Oh man, it makes power at the top and literally nowhere else. And oh, wow, it's a convertible now. Okay, seeing as this is an advanced auto, it does have a sport mode, which is cool. So now we can run sport mode ESC, sport mode shifting, and fly through those 6 gears pretty much as fast as possible. Oh man, the brakes are so inadequate though for something this quick. So the best thing I can say about this is that if you want your funeral to come sooner, this thing will make it happen. Whether you're the driver, passenger, or rear passenger, things are going to happen at 150 kilometers an hour that definitely wouldn't in other vehicles. It bounces, it rolls, it is very unstable. The wheelbase is far too long, and that is something I like about it. This is probably, I think, the first time I've extended the wheelbase of a car to this extent. I might have done it a little bit on previous builds, but nothing like this. Okay, wow, I actually like the look of it without the back piece on there even more. I mean, I probably should have forced unbreakable fixtures, but now we get to see the tailpipes in their full glory, so I ain't complaining. Oh man, this thing is so fast. It is so fast. It's too fast. I'm not going to be able to stop. Oh yeah, no chance. No chance on that one. So if we try to drive like a civilized individual, I just don't think that this thing is particularly capable of that. Like it honestly just doesn't seem possible to drive normally. I'm doing 100 kilometers way too quickly. Although I don't know what the speed limit is here, I imagine it's probably something like 80. If this was a rural Canadian road, although I believe it's East Coast USA, actually we have a speed limit, 40. I'm doing a lot more than that. But yeah, rural Canadian roads are generally 80 kilometers an hour speed limit. Yeah, this thing will do that exceptionally quick, as I shall now demonstrate. And that's 80, even with ESC on. Ooh, that's a bit of a ripper. Actually, this might be the fastest Bugo I've ever made. And looking at it like this, honestly, without the soft top, it doesn't look too bad. It's like a little pickup truck almost. The soft top gives it some Grim Reaper vibes, but I mean, I don't know. I was just trying to be creative with that. Honestly, this car with rear-wheel drive, or possibly all-wheel drive, and then much better tires and better brakes and just a better suspension design in general and not leaf springs in the back, it would absolutely be shockingly fast. And I think that's something I'd like to do in the future if you're interested. But until then, I'm going to sign off for now, boys. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoy this, and hopefully you have a good Halloween as well. Stay safe out there in the wide world of ghosts and ghouls and stuff. And I'm assuming that if you're watching this, you're way too old to be out getting candy. But, yeah, have fun giving out candy or Halloween parties or whatever people do. I don't know, man. I've never really been into Halloween. Costumes are fun, though, and I like the fall, so I can't complain. But yeah, before you go, I just wanted to say be sure to subscribe to this channel if you like this kind of stuff, this kind of creativity. This is what I do literally every week here, and I'm trying to do more of it as well, so yeah, be sure to stick around. Like this video if you liked it, and be sure to drop any constructive feedback you may have or other ideas you may have in the comments. I'm definitely down to hear them, and I'm always looking for more ideas, so yeah. I gotta do something for Christmas, like, that's one of the things coming up, so if you have an idea for a cool Christmas car that I could build, let me know. I've done Santa's lead sled before, but I'd like to do something a little bit different this year. No ideas yet, but, you know, it could be yours that gets made. Until then, guys, thank you for watching, thank you for being here, and I will see you again next time. Okay, let's put this thing to rest. I'd like to give a special shout out to those who have chosen to support this channel, the V8s, the i4 turbos, and the i4s, although there are none of them yet. I haven't exactly been advertising this, although I should be, but yeah, I appreciate the join button members quite a bit. Some of you have been here for 36 months. Overlord, that is a bloody long time. That is 3 years of support on this channel, which is crazy. But I'm just, yeah, extremely thankful. Very happy that everybody's here, and I just want to say that again now. So, Overlord, QT Bear, Terrio1, J Pope, Davis Heister, The German Dude, Nat64, Sinlab, Badger, Phoenix Shark, Baja Blast, Trevor Cousin, Goofy Plays, and Order of the Valiant. Thank you, everybody, for your support. I'll see you again next week with some more stuff, and hopefully, if you've been following with my second channel, my go-kart is actually progressing finally after I had 4 days straight to work on it due to being stuck home with COVID. So it's been good. Like it's been good. I would encourage you to check out that content if you want to. I've been trying to cut the videos shorter so it's not 20 minutes of just the same thing over and over again. But anyway, guys, I'll see you again soon, and thank you for watching. Yeah.